Whenever we are asked to look at a historic course and club such as Hankley Common, the first thing we want to do is understand the history and evolution of the golf course. We will make a study of all of the old archive material such as aerial photography, ground photography, club history book, and the memories of the older members. In some cases, this research reveals great features which have been lost through the years. So sometimes these exercises are as much about restoring great old features as creating new ones. It is also only right to respect the great heritage of these courses and the work that some of the great old architects, such as James Braid and Harry Colt at Hankley Common, carried out on these wonderful pieces of golfing ground. The overriding feeling at Hankley is that you are blessed with a fantastic heathland landscape, but that the quality of the detail of the course doesn't quite live up to the beautiful landscape that you sit in. The overall layout is particularly strong. The greens and green surrounds are not the most interesting that we would come across, but they're also not the most bland. Some of the tee complexes are far too large and need to be split up into smaller areas, and the pathway system is certainly something that needs attention, with a decision made about the type of surfacing for some of the more troublesome paths. Tree coverage is always an emotive issue, but studying the old photographs reveal that tree growth has occurred over many years, as it has at all courses. But Hankley's better than most in terms of keeping an open aspect, but there's still room for improvement, and the removal of trees forms part of these proposals. Now, the real opportunity for improvement comes with the bunkers. It has to be said that overall, the bunkers are rather disappointing at Hankley. They lack real heathland character, which, thinking about the setting that you sit in, really should be the key feature of the bunkering. The visual improvement of the bunkers, and hence the vistas from the tees and from approaches into greens, would be significantly improved if a programme of bunker reshaping and re-landscaping was undertaken. The other feature which could be added to the course would be the creation of bare sand areas. It is a great blessing to have the advantages of a sandy base, a sandy subsoil, and in some areas the sand could be revealed by removing heather vegetation or other rough vegetation and really bringing the sand to the surface. The removal of that heather goes hand in hand with the possible bunker reconstruction project, in that the heather removed from some of these rough areas could be used to landscape the bunker faces. The creation of the bare sand areas would be a real plus from an ecological point of view, and already it is clear that Natural England would support such an approach. Now, the thrust of these hole-by-hole proposals is not to make the course much tougher, not to make it a much longer championship venue or longer venue for the members, but instead to provide a more enjoyable golf course for the members and visitors. I will now take you on a tour of the course on a hole-by-hole basis. The par 4 first hole at Hankley immediately introduces the golfers to the heathland character of the course. Looking at the old aerial photograph, though, it can be seen just how wide the fairways used to be. That's common with a lot of golf courses through the years. Fairways have become much, much narrower over time. The other difference with the first is that previously the hole used to play from a tee within the car park as a par 5. The centre line shown on these plans are for the current day holes from the back tees. The other finding on the first was that the right-hand bunker was much, much wider, and it can be seen from the current day aerial just how much smaller the bunker has become. There was also a bunker to the left of the approach to the green. We thought it made sense to restore the width of the right-hand bunker, but not to restore the bunker to the left of the green. We also thought that the hole needed to be strengthened visually from the tee. We felt that this was best achieved by the placement of a fairway bunker to the right of the hole, but at a distance that the majority of the members would not be able to reach. This visualization shows the proposed bunker and also the widening of the existing bunker to the right. The par 3 second hole at Hankley was added by James Braid in the 20s. At the tees, it's proposed to split the large teeing areas up and to provide slightly different angles of attack to the green, which would also involve the removal of some trees. The hole was quite constrained by trees in 1966, but it's likely that the area would have been much clearer when the hole was first designed in the 20s. Par 3s are so important to any layout, and it's slightly disappointing on the second that there's not a better sight of the green from the tees. The proposal is to lower the carry area of the hole and turn it into a bare sand area with heather plants scattered amongst it. Up at the green, the grass hollow to the right will be converted into a bunker, and the bunker on the left will be converted into a tightly mown bank dropping away from the edge of the green. The bunkers would also be given a more intricate shape, more in keeping with the heritage of the course. The third at Hankley plays quite differently depending on whether it's played from the back tee or the main tee. There's 80 yards of difference between the two. Once again, it's interesting to note the very wide fairway in the 1941 aerial photograph, but also the presence of so many trees to the left of the hole. There is also no sign of the existing back tee. The current day aerial shows that the bunker to the right of the fairway has been added. However, it seems rather divorced from the heather to the right-hand side of the hole, so the proposal is to make the bunker much larger and to connect it with that heather on the right-hand side. There are also plans to do the same with the front left-hand bunker and to lower the walk-in of the bunker to the right of the green. The mound to the rear of the green can be lowered and reshaped, again to make it look more old-fashioned than modern and machine-made. The other improvement to this hole really is in connection with the pathways to make sure that they are a much better surface and drain more effectively through wet conditions. The fourth at Hankley has undergone relatively recent major surgery in the form of a new green construction. While the bunkers to the right of the hole do have heather over the faces, they lack the real heathland character, the old heritage character that the bunkers really should have. The old aerial photograph revealed a fascinating finding with an enormous great scar of a diagonal bunker right the way across the approach to the green. This compares on the modern day aerial with the one single bunker to the left-hand side of the green. In this case, it would be worth considering the restoration of such a diagonal feature running across the front of the green, in tandem with lowering the green surface so that it's easier to hit, but also easier to see from the clubhouse. However, it is appreciated that green has been fairly recently reconstructed, so that might be something the members want to dwell upon. The other issue relates to the tree behind the green. This undoubtedly affects the condition of the green, both in terms of the shade that it casts over the green surface and also the roots which affect the soil conditions of the green itself. There really is a strong case to be made for removing the tree. The fifth takes us away from the clubhouse through into the heathland beyond. The old aerial shows how the hole was extended from 1945, when it really played as a very short par 4. You can see from the current aerial photograph that the two bunkers have stayed in the same location, but with the green moving on, the second set of bunkers have been pushed on up with the new green. The main proposal at the fifth is to rebunker the landing area. The bunker to the right of the hole has an attractive shape, but the heather face could still be improved. While it is quite close to the tee, it does form a good layup bunker. The bunker to the left of the hole, however, should be pushed further on to test the longer hitters and really ask the question as to what their strategy should be. Moving the bunker up the hole will also help the higher handicap player, as it should push the bunker out of reach of most. In addition, it is proposed that another bunker is added to the right-hand side of the hole, and this can be set into the rear of a new back tee for the 9th. The first of the par 5s at Hankley comes at the 6th. The old aerial photograph reveals 2 bunkers left and right of the fairway, now long gone. There is also the interesting scar to the right of the approach, possibly from tank exercises, but it's hard really to see what sort of feature that was, unless it was a very natural looking hazard. It's also worth noting the shape of the approach bunker to the left and just seeing how that has changed in the modern day, with the current aerial photograph showing a much smaller and rounder feature. The first of the proposals is to add a fairway bunker to the right of the tee shot, and that would be at a distance which would really challenge the elite players from the back tees, and so again shouldn't come too much into play from the general membership from the main tee, or the higher handicap ladies from the forward tee. Further up the hole, the situation which we feel must be addressed is how so many of the balls just finish off in the rough on the right hand side of the fairway due to the large camber from left to right on that part of the fairway. The proposal that we've generated is to add 2 central bunkers in the fairway, but to extend the fairway significantly to the right to give real strategic options of playing the hole. Should the golfers lay up short of the bunkers? Should they try and thread the ball past them? Or should they play to the right of them, leaving a different angle into the green? We think that would create a really interesting second shot and also a much fairer one than is experienced today. James Braid's 7th hole across the valley is really one of the great par 3s in the world of golf, and certainly a real attribute to Hankley. The old aerial photograph shows how the tee has been pushed back over the years, and it also illustrates a slightly different shape of green, so the question is whether this green was reconstructed at some point during its past. The other aspect to note with the old aerial photograph compared to the new one is the slightly less interesting shape of bunkering up at the green. Hence, that forms the thrust of the major proposal for the 7th, and that is to reshape the bunkers to give them a more old-fashioned look, something that James Braid might have appreciated back in the 20s when he designed the hole. The other minor proposal that the visual shows is running the heather down the mounds behind the green slightly further than it exists at the moment. The 8th offers a splendid view from the elevated tees, and the recent reconfiguration is a real credit to John and his team. The bunkering shown on the old aerial photograph is interesting on 2 counts. One, there's the cross bunkers, or the 2 cross bunkers up by the second road, and also the shape of the bunker on the right hand side, and also the third one up on the left, rather more intricate than the current day shapes. The current day aerial shows how the bunkering layout has changed, in particular for the second part of the hole. The first of the visuals shows how the right hand bunker should be pushed further up the hole. It's always better when bunkers are laid out in a staggered arrangement rather than both being at the same distance left and right of the fairway. This visual also shows some bare sand areas created to the left and right of the hole, which we feel will really add to the visual character of the tee shot. The second visual shows the addition of the bunker to the left of the approach, the improvement of the shaping of the bunkers, creating a more heathland look, and also suggests that the trees to the right-hand side of the hole should be removed. The character of the bunkering of the par 4 9th hole has certainly been improved with the recent work. The old aerial shows how the bunker to the left of the fairway has been moved up, and also how the greenside bunkering was really 4 slivers of bunkers rather than the rather larger 2 bunkers left and right of the green. The reshaping of the bunkers has gone well, although it could be argued that the shaping is just a little bit too smooth and manicured for a classic heathland course with the heritage that Hankley enjoys. This will be something to focus on an ongoing basis with the bunker shaping, and the real detail will be the major key to the success of the project. Now, it is well known that the 10th, 11th and 12th holes were designed by the great Harry Colt. The old aerial photograph shows some really significant bunkering up at the green. The front right bunker was an enormous feature and really would have framed that green setting. It is also clear that there were no trees left or right of the hole at that stage. It seems somewhat strange that the main tee shot has a line to the green which is to the right of the copse of trees to the right of the fairway. The visual shows the removal of trees both left and right of the hole and the addition of a bunker to take the place of the trees to the right. In addition to these proposals, it is suggested that the main tee is moved over to the left-hand side of the hole on the same line as the back tee. And there is also room to add a back tee even further back. Long par fours should remain long par fours, and elite players are hitting the ball longer and longer these days, so it would make sense to take the easy advantage of a few extra yards on the 10th. Up at the green, it is suggested that the beauty of those original Colt bunkers is restored. The par 3 11th hole is another in a glorious heathland setting, but the detail of the hole doesn't quite match up to that. As recently as 1966, there was no back tee over on the left-hand side. However, the photo does show the bank to the right-hand side of the green. That does seem to lend a disproportionate advantage to the better golfer, who is only likely to miss the green by a relatively small margin, in which case would receive a welcome kick in towards the green surface, whereas golfers missing the green further to the right have a far more complicated shot up and over the bank. However, before the green is reached, the proposal is to add a bare sand area in the carry of the hole, and also one to the right of the hole. The heather that's removed to create the bare sand area can be used to strengthen the right-hand side of the hole, but some distance away from the green. To the right of the green, the proposal is to remove the greenside bunker and also the bank, replacing them with a steep slope to the right-hand side of the green, something which we think Harry Colt would have approved of. There would be an elevation drop of about 1 metre from the green surface to the surround to the right-hand side of the green, and this would be maintained tightly cut so that all manner of recovery shots can be played. So that would be a real help to high handicap players and also pose some interesting questions for the better golfers. The par 4 12th hole is an attractive dogleg left. The old aerial photograph shows that the two bunkers on the hole used to be much larger, and it also shows a much more snaking fairway than the current aerial represents. There are also no pine trees evident in 1966. One thing that we looked out for was whether the hollow to the right-hand side of the fairway was a bunker, but this certainly isn't shown in the old aerials that we have managed to locate. So the proposals really involve the restoration of the size of the left-hand bunker, and we think it would make a lot of sense to turn the hollows to the right-hand side into a bunker. At the moment, it seems to attract an awful lot of golf balls and an awful lot of divots as a result. In addition, the trees, both left and right, are proposed to be removed. There seems to be enough hazard with the left-hand bunker, and it doesn't really need a copse of trees beyond the bunker to add to that hazard. It is thought that the par 5 13th hole used to be played from a tee even further back, although the drive from there must have been blind. The old aerial photograph from 1945 only shows one bunker to the left of the hole, and the current day photo reveals that the one closer to the tee has been added since that time. The other notable feature of the old aerial is the collection of 3 bunkers on either side of the approach and either side of the green. That has changed in the modern day to 2 bunkers on either side. The proposals shown in the visualization really show the conversion of the bunkers to a much more heathland character. The creation of a bare sand area to the left of the hole would provide heather to landscape the bunker faces. The recent clearance to the right of the 14th is excellent to see, and already small heather plants can be seen to be flourishing. Once again, the old aerial photograph shows a much wider fairway, while the bunkering configuration up at the approach and up at the green has remained fairly similar compared to today's situation. There is an opportunity to add a few more yards with a new back tee, and it's suggested that the fairway is pushed slightly further to the left. Up at the green, the bunkering is almost good with some heather evident on most of the faces, but still it's thought that the detail of the shaping could be improved. In addition, some of the trees behind the green can be removed to improve the growing conditions and the landscape setting of the green itself. Every good course should have a short par 4, and Hankley's 15th is an excellent example. There should really be no concern about protecting the dogleg by planting trees, and those young ones really should be removed. The old aerial photograph is quite interesting in the bunkering up at the green. Far more intricate shapes, a bunker behind the green, and no trees surrounding it. Even though the bunker to the right-hand side does have an attractive face, its plan shape is still extremely circular, so some adjustment of this is recommended. The small trees to the left of the fairway should be removed, and up at the green, the right-hand side bunker should be made much larger. The oak trees to the right and behind the green should be removed, and the bunker behind the green should be restored. It can also be seen on the ground that the green must have extended further to the right towards the rear, so this should also be something that is restored. The uphill 16th hole poses somewhat of a difficult carry for the shorter hitters, so a forward tee is proposed in the carry, and also the improvement of the heather at the front left of the carry area. The old aerial photograph shows 3 huge bunkers surrounding the green, while the current aerial photograph shows the 2 which remain. It is not proposed to restore the 3rd bunker, as the bank leading away to the left of the green is a good feature as it is, but certainly the 2 bunkers up at the green should be reshaped into a real classic heathland style. Now to the sharply doglegging 17th. The old aerial doesn't reveal too much different from today, but the approach bunkering on the right hand side was 1 larger bunker compared with the 2 which the current aerial photograph shows. Hence the proposal is to restore this larger approach bunker feature to improve the character of the greenside bunkers and to remove some of the trees behind the green. The 18th is a wonderful hole with its greens so superbly sited beyond the valley in the approach. The old aerial interestingly shows 2 fairway bunkers, but it wasn't thought necessary to restore these. The hole is a good enough test as it is. The proposal up at the green is to remove the trees to the left of the approach and to shallow out the pathway routing the golfers to the left of the hole and onto the green. A great finishing hole for Hankley. These overall proposals for the 18 holes takes the number of bunkers at Hankley from 55 to 63. 8 are removed and 16 are added. In terms of length, there's a minor increase in the back tee length of the course, but the course from the other tees remains very much the same as today. Plans have also been developed for the practice ground. The first thing any practice ground needs is an excellent practice tee. So it's suggested that this is reconstructed with room for an artificial tee along the back and also an opportunity for the future addition of a teaching bay. Within the body of the practice ground, it is necessary to undertake a significant amount of regrading to allow good visibility from the tee all of the way through to driver shots landing area. Practice is always better when it's much more realistic. So the suggestion is to locate a number of target greens up the length of the practice ground. When the practice ground is closed, these could be used as a short par 3 course, which would really help with beginners, juniors, seniors, and even established golfers looking to improve and sharpen their game. As these target greens would need to be of putting quality, it would be best if the surfaces were produced from artificial grass, and some of the products available on the market these days provide really, really good target surfaces, but also brilliant putting greens as well. This configuration and also use of the short game area at the far end could produce a short 9-hole course.